Yes, there is a Thresh top build that was used in Challenger. That is a true statement. However, there is definitely more to it than first meets the eye. This is ahri. I've linked their legal graphs below so you can take a look yourself, and perhaps stay up to date with it if you're watching in the future. The first thing you may notice is that they are no longer in Challenger but instead Grandmaster. But to clear up any confusion, I saw the drop happen overnight since I heard of this player almost a week ago, and in their match history at the time, Thresh had not been recently played. When I first saw the League of Graphs page, they had 14 games of Thresh with a 43% win rate, and that has not changed even when I view the page today. So, the Thresh top was played in Challenger, and did not cause the drop to Grandmaster, at least not directly. But now onto the build itself. First is the keystone rune, Lethal Tempo. What does it do for Thresh exactly? Tempo increases attack speed greatly, which certainly doesn't help too much in the early game, but is a godsend for Thresh in the late game. You see, Thresh gains 1.5 magic damage on hit per soul he acquires, naturally having great synergy with attack speed. This alone creates a very powerful, scaling top laner with ranged auto attacks and great utility. The reason Lethal Tempo is even better for Thresh specifically is because he has very few options for attack speed items. Blade of the Ruined King and Nash's Tooth may come to mind to some people, but they are far too squishy to use on Thresh with his low attack range of 450, and he can easily be bursted to halt any potential DPS. The only high attack speed item with any kind of defense is Wit's End. Speaking of which, ahri does use Wit's End in almost every game with Thresh top, even against an AD opponent in the top lane like Poppy. If you're playing for scaling, then wasted magic resistance against your laner doesn't really matter that much, as you're likely looking to pick fights with the rest of the team as well. And it's hardly wasted anyhow, as Wit's End at level 9, even if you remove the magic resistance gold value, has a gold worth of 3025, only 75 gold under its cost of 3100. Leading to a cost efficiency value of 97%. This will quickly become cost efficient if you level up past level 9, and of course immediately becomes efficient when magic damage comes into play. Wit's End is also a wonderful ball of stats for Thresh top at all stages of the game. The 40 AD in the item and in the build path increase Thresh's DPS and burst damage significantly through his 200% total AD ratio on E passive. This makes his poking and short trades often very favourable. The 40% attack speed of course helps in a similar way, and only increases in value as you acquire more souls for your on-hit damage. And the magic resist stat is arguably better than an armor stat on Thresh, as your souls are giving you 1 armor for each one you collect. Even without buying armor, you'll have a great mix of defenses. Speaking of defenses, ahri goes for a Bami's Cinder mythic item. I think any could work, but ahri chooses Frostfire Gauntlet. It may be a bit weaker for ranged champions, but still provides a well-rounded ball of defense stats. And its mythic passive increases your HP and size, providing even more tankiness through till late game, and having further synergy with the armor per soul you get. They could be built in either order, depending on whether you need tankiness to survive lanes straight away with Frostfire, such as HP versus true damage, or just need to get your DPS up as quickly as possible. Naturally, magic damage lane opponents will be great matchups for a Wit's End rush. For boot choice, ahri takes Berserker's Greaves most commonly. Like Lethal Tempo and Wit's End, this increases Thresh's soul DPS greatly and at a cheap cost, without fighting for an item slot with important tank items. Alternatively, you can go for steel plates, as we can see ahri has done situationally. Further items from ahri are typically any kind of tanky items. Anything from Warmogs to Wit's End to Abyssal Mask have been purchased, but I must add that Titanic Hydra is one of Thresh top's best items in my experience, and the one game in ahri's match history that built Titanic Hydra was also, perhaps coincidentally, one of his best performances. 14 games is hardly a good sample size, but rather than view this as some kind of OP challenger build that you should play immediately, I'd rather view it as a player experimenting with new changes for a fun playstyle that just happens to be doing it in Challenger. Perhaps they will play it again in the future, but for now they seem to have stopped. And that could be for a myriad of reasons, and the real reason we may never know for certain. However, it was able to perform well in Challenger, and I feel that can't be ignored. Even if over 14 games the win rate was below 50%, that says plenty about Thresh top's viability, as he isn't completely demolished as maybe some people would assume. But be aware, as this is in Challenger, it may not perform the same way in low elos. I'm sure we've all seen teams that give up after 20, 15 or sometimes even 5 minutes in an any percent speedrun, and so playing for scaling with things like Lethal Tempo may not always work out. Even with all this, Fresh Top is a mostly unexplored field, and I can only speak from my experience playing it for almost 10 seasons. Just as ahri has experimented with Fresh Top, I would advise you as well to consider experimenting to find what may work for you, whether that's Fresh Top or anything else. Though if you would like to see more Fresh Top stuff, I play him a little here and there over on my Twitch streams and over here on YouTube. I'm also happy to take any questions about Fresh Top or how on earth it works, so feel free to comment below. I was already working on some more Fresh Top in-depth content, which I plan to release in the near future, so I would ask those of you who are interested to consider hitting subscribe and maybe ringing the notification bell to know when they arrive. Thank you so much for watching, I will see you in the next one. And shoutouts to the members OKJ, Nashborn, Awesome Toyoda, Light, and AJG Beat91. Thank you for supporting the channel.